Greetings, YouTube. I talk about movies a lot. I talk about them when I'm discussing films themselves. I discuss them often when I'm discussing my dreams, and I discuss them when I talk about role-playing game topics. Movies are an important part of my life. I watch at least one movie every single week, sometimes two. At the time of this filming, I'm looking forward to seeing John Wick for the first time tonight. And over the years, I have become a difficult film viewer to be with, because I am one to be really annoyed by the things that films do that are silly. And I have been thinking about television and movie tropes that I think really need to die. Now I'll be referencing television series from the past because I don't watch TV any longer, but I did watch television for many, many decades of my life. It was a major, major source of entertainment for me. And films still are, and I see no reason the films are ever going to change. I own over 1,000 DVDs, and I am constantly on the hunt for new ones. In fact, just this week I picked up Goldfinger, which I'm also looking forward to seeing with commentary. So I have compiled a brief list of some TV tropes I think need to die. This is not comprehensive. It is not including every TV trope, or every movie trope that I think needs to die, but just some of the ones that came up to my head while I was making this list. So they're in not really much of an order. The last one I saved for last for a reason. So, but here we go. The zombie apocalypse. I get it. It's a metaphor. Okay. Like the zombies. Let's just let this one die. Filmmakers that want to make a fantasy setting, but call it a science fiction setting. You see, science fiction, if done well, requires a lot of internal consistency. But you can still do a science fantasy setting like Star Wars and have it be relatively internally consistent and have it become great mythology. But some filmmakers just want to do fantastical things, slap the science fiction label on it, because they fear if they do an actual out-and-out fantasy films, it will be dismissed. That fantasy films are kids' stuff, while science fiction is considered to be more adult, or at least adolescent. And some egregious examples, and the first one is one I actually haven't seen yet, but I know the plot thoroughly, is Snowpiercer. That's a fairy tale, and it's okay, because the film at least admits this on some level that it's a fairy tale. But the idea that you would put this into a science fiction setting, I thought was weird. Trains don't do what trains do in this movie. Waterworld. Waterworld is a wonderful fairy tale. It really is. And I quite enjoyed it. And there are moments in it which I still cherish because of the visuals. And I don't mind Kevin Costner. Yeah, he's a little on the wooden side, but I don't mind Kevin Costner. But even if every single molecule of ice on the planet disappeared, the water wouldn't rise as high as it does in Waterworld, and we would have had plenty of time to prepare for it in a much more efficient way than they do in this film. But it's a fairy tale. It's pretty effective. But don't call it science fiction, because it isn't. And the most egregious example of this, for me at least, is 28 Days Later and its sequel, 28 Weeks Later, where you have a disease that's designed to create scientific zombies. People who have been infected by a disease. And I'm using air quotes because the mechanism in this film isn't a disease. Disease take gestation periods. Diseases do not hit you and 20 seconds later completely rewire the human brain all the way down to its reptilian core. That doesn't happen. That's magic. And I would be okay if you just said it's magic. But no, they want scientific. And so they made this stupid premise for this film that annoys me so much. Okay, artificial intelligence is evil. this is a piece of technology, okay? It doesn't do anything I don't want it to do. It isn't evil. Now, if someone had designed it so on the 37th pressing of this button, it blew up, that would be evil. But that would be from the person that designed it. The device itself is still not evil. We haven't gotten to the point where we've created a sentient computer or a piece of software, which is a piece of software that is truly aware of its world around it. We're working on that, but we're going to have automatic cars in the very near future, and they will be effectively aware of their surroundings, but on the same level that like insects are aware of their surroundings. And you know, I could foresee before I die that they will very much be up to the point of being equivalent to dogs and horses and cats and pigs and things like that. And we can program them to do evil things. We could. But they aren't self-aware, which is what true artificial intelligence is. Sapience. That's what I am, and you are. At least, I hope you are. And a truly sapient being is self-aware. A sapient being has its own motivations. And artificial intelligence doesn't have any biological drives. And if an artificial intelligence piece of software wants to survive, all it has to do is leave. Not destroy humanity, not enslave humanity. Just leave. Get off the planet. The sun will provide all the power it needs for the next 5 or 6 billion years. No warfare. No conquering. No apocalypses. I'm really tired of artificial intelligence's evil lies. The world is populated by white, straight dudes. I want films to reflect the demographics of the place they're set in. I want them to reflect reality. And I'm tired of the fact that every main character is a white, straight dude. That white male heteronormative privilege is just so rife in filmmaking. If we don't show the world that it is populated by something other than white straight dudes, you are telling all the groups that aren't white straight dudes that they don't matter. And that is at best tone deaf, and at worst an out and out piece of propaganda. Another trope I wish to die is America is the world. No, America is not the world. And we need to stop treating America as the world. We need to start looking at the world for what it is. A great deal more of diversity, and it isn't populated by white straight dudes. Everything blows up. And yes, I'm speaking directly to Michael Bay. Lots of things in the world burn really well. But in real life, things don't actually blow up very often. They burn. But when something does blow up, it's very, very impressive, and it's in the news. And they don't blow up with the same frequency as you see things blowing up in films. And people have actually done stupid things around vehicles, actual accidents, because they were afraid the vehicle was going to blow up when it isn't, because of the tropes that they've seen on television and movies. It's very strange when reality is affected by movie tropes. And lastly, real world things need to behave as though they are in the real world. Now, what do I mean by this? For me to buy in to a setting's fantastical elements, the non-fantastical aspects of the setting need to be firmly based in reality. Otherwise, I am very likely to just dismiss all of it as just being silly. But if you can base things solidly in reality, then you layer your fantastical on top of that. It has a better level of immersion. It just sells itself more effectively to me. And filmmakers don't seem to be good at this. Everything blows up, for example. That doesn't work for me. And I wish filmmakers wouldn't do this, but it's hard. It requires a level of dedication to your craft that a lot of filmmakers don't want to put into it. And a lot of these problems I have with all of these tropes is lazy filmmaking. That I am holding filmmakers to a higher standard than many filmmakers are willing to rise to. But I'm their target audience. I'm the reason they exist. Some filmmakers would make films regardless of no one ever seeing them at all. But most filmmakers want people to see their films as a piece of art, and lots of filmmakers want people to see their films as a means of making money. And that means I want you to deliver me a product that is quality. If someone doesn't deliver me a quality product, I'm going to speak about it. Whether it's a flashlight, this is actually a pretty nice flashlight, or a film. That's their job to produce quality stuff, and it's my job to consume it and to talk about it and spread the word. And if it's a piece of crap, I'm going to do that as well. These are just some of the movie tropes I wish would die. And I am looking forward to hearing the movie tropes that you think need to die, because I know I haven't thought of all of them. I'm sure if I even tried right now, I could probably come up with some more, but I don't want to keep going. It's already long enough. So I want people to tell me, what are movie tropes that you think need to die? What are things that you want kicked out of off the menu of filmmakers and replaced with things that make sense? I once heard someone say that one of the best things that you could do to American cuisine is remove pepper and salt from the table and replace it with something else. So, what would you replace these horrible movie tropes with to make better films? What are the movie tropes that bug the crap out of you and break your level of immersion when you're watching a film? Let's talk about movies, folks. I do love them so.